Today, my very special guest is Sheila Bell from Swann Systems. Hello, Sheila. How are you?
Yeah, fine, thank you. It's a glorious day outside, as you said. It seems nice to be inside.
Yeah, but it's nice to be outside. We know within reason. Just quickly, introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Sheila Bell of Swann Systems. We run a bookkeeping payroll company based halfway between Rugby and Daventry. Swann Systems was started in 2002, so we've been looking after all small businesses for their accounts payroll. So we're the link between you and the accountant. So we're not trained accountants, and then hopefully we make everything make sense to you, because sometimes accountancy language can seem very confusing. You're all very good at what you do. Your businesses are brilliant. So what do is make sure that the accounts are done and that you're up to date and you don't fall foul of the great HMRC. So that's what we've been doing. And I've been doing accounts and using Sage to start with since 1993. So I'll leave you to work out how long that is.
Oh, and you're only 22.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Yeah, only 22. So before, as you can see, the details come at the bottom of the screen. Before I start talking about your fascination with piggly bits of paper, how have you been managing during the lockdown?
Yeah, it's been a very strange time, because normally a lot of my time I'm actually physically out on site, actually at clients' premises, and I have a team of self-employed bookkeepers who work with me, and some of them are out on site and some of them are in the office. So suddenly I'm in the office, which has been very strange, which I must admit I quite like now, and they've all been working from home, so that's made a difference. The payroll's been challenging to sort out all the furlough and sort out everybody's queries and that sort of thing. The bookkeeping has been much quieter because we have got quite a few customers that are in industries where their businesses, the government have said they're shut, they literally have no work. And it's supporting them, because it's been quite difficult for them especially if they're pub restaurant owners, cafe owners. They're used to being, on their working 12, 14 hours a day, and then suddenly to be at home do nothing is challenging for everybody.
Yeah. So, in what ways would you like things to change?
I think it would be nice for everybody. I think this feeling of camaraderie and everything else, for it to continue. The other thing that I'd like businesses to do is actually take on board the technology. We moved to using more online accounting softwares probably about 3 years ago, and I'm the dinosaur I am, so I was a bit skeptical, but I must admit I'm so glad we did, because we've been able to look after people, do their accounts, answer their questions and that sort of thing, which we couldn't have done with people if their accounts are literally just on one computer in their office. I think a lot of people have realised now that they do need to use the virtual world, whether they like to or not.
Yeah. Okay, so you love piggly bits of paper. Why do you like piggly bits of paper, and how can your love for these piggly bits of paper help people in general?
Well, piggly bits of paper are the lifeblood of bookkeepers like me. The word piddly is not in the English Oxford Dictionary, so maybe we ought to start a campaign to get it in there, because as soon as I say piddly bits of paper, everybody knows what I mean. I just like having a great big pile of stuff to do, to organise it, sort it, and then actually go through with people, because doing the accounts is very easy for people to do now. They just do the download from the bank and then they go tick, 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 tick. But they never then look and see what the profit and loss is. They never see where they are. Some people don't want to do anything to do with their piddly bits of paper. Some people have dyscalculia, which is the same thing of like dyslexia, but they have it with numbers, so they don't like anything to do with pieces of paper. They just want to give it to us and then have nothing to do with it, and they're not really interested in the numbers at the end of it. So that's why I like piddly bits of paper, to sort people out and sort out their businesses. And piddly bits of paper can do very different things. I've had a customer in the past that had a 2-drawer small filing cabinet that went under a desk. Does everybody know what I mean? And it was like one of those comedy sketches, because she knew exactly when she opened it where to put her hand in to actually open it, and then it looked like somebody was underneath pushing the pieces of paper up, because it literally all the paper just came out like this and just kept coming, and there was thousands of receipts in there. So so something like that is always a challenge. It's always something nice to do.
So in what way are you different to an accountant, for example?
The accountants like to know that everything is always based on what the bank says, even though maybe we don't like the banks and the bankers and everything else. That is something that is a third party. This is a definite. So the accountants take your bank statement and then work the accounts from it. What a bookkeeper will do is that we'll make sure that the bank statement, all your receipts, everything all tallies, everything balances to the penny, so that it's all sorted. Because even though you've spent lots of time, or we've spent lots of time on your behalf doing your accounts, the accountants take those global figures and they have different software, so they don't work out your accounts on the software that you've done it on. They have special accountancy software that then is set for taxation, and then they can they're trained to then look through and say, this is the best way for you and your business, this is the best way of doing this for a taxation point of view, or if you want to do some research and development, they've got all the tools to do that. So we do all of the sorting of the piddly bits, whether you've gone through a bank account, whether you've paid them through a credit card, whether you paid them cash, sort all of those out, put them into the actual what's called the nominal ledger, and then the accountants take those global figures, and then they get that, as I say sometimes, like they get their crystal ball out, and then they say, sort of, this is how much tax you've got to pay. So we're the link between the business owner and the accountant. Many business owners do their accounts themselves, they have staff to do it, that's fine. But we find that many family businesses are very good at what they do. They also, maybe one of them goes and does the selling, one of them will go and actually produce the product or organise it, or as a family they organise it all. But then sometimes the finance thing is not what they're good at. And within due respect to you, Howard, sometimes people that are very sort of hands-on, graphic-y, arty, accounts is not your thing. And please don't ask me to draw a stick man, because even the arms and legs won't be in proportion. So that's why I do what I do, and that's why you do what you do.
Thank you. Yeah, you're so right, Sheila. You're so right. One thing which I love about what you do, which I've my limited knowledge of bookkeeping, is is it the Cygnets thing? Is this Cygnet? Help me out, Sheila.
No. As you can see, the business is Swann Systems.
Yeah.
So we've created now, as swans have babies, they have Cygnets.
Right.
Is that Cygnets is specially for people thinking about starting in business, which maybe people are thinking of doing in this lockdown, that they've just gone, actually, I really want to do what I want to do, or people in their first year of business. So it's all of the basics. We explain all about the great white chart that HMRC is, all about those brown envelopes that come through the door that people are too frightened to open. We'll put in a bookkeeping package, teach you how to do the accounts, teach you how to actually look at the accounts so you can assess where you're up to, but also all the little things like, I'm working from home, so can I claim for doing up a bedroom whilst I'm working from home? How does it affect my house insurance? I'm now using my personal car. Does it affect the car insurance? So we've got a module all on insurances. We've also got modules on that maybe you're working with a business partner, there's the two of you working together, how does that dynamic work? Do you actually need to have a proper legal agreement between you and that sort of thing? So all of the little things and things about the Drake GDPR that people talk about, and the Information Commissioner's Office, and all of these things that people banter around and everything else, that you just go, I don't know what that is. Am I meant to do that? Am I not meant to do that? And then, of course, you'll get advice anytime you start up in business. So you'll get advice from somebody like me or you. You'll get advice from somebody else that's in business. You'll get the bank saying that they want a business plan, and you'll get, you'll go to any of the support things of the Growth Hub and places like that, and they'll give you different advice and that sort of thing. And somebody down the pub or the cafe will tell you something different that counteracts what somebody else has said, and it all gets very confusing. And all you want to do is do the product or the idea that you think is brilliant. Yeah. So that's the idea of Cygnets. The first thing of Cygnets is what's called a business canvas map, which takes you through, is your idea viable? Yeah. Is this the right thing to do? Because with the best will in the world, you can have the most fantastic idea. Everybody around you thinks it's wonderful, but unfortunately, the rest of the outside world don't think so, or they wouldn't be willing to pay the amount of money that it would need. So we take people through and handhold them through the whole process.
I think that's brilliant, because it's frightening starting up and by yourself or with a partner, and to have this service that is sort of packaged up for the newbies or the new business owner. I think it's excellent. So how long do you stay a Cygnet for before you go to big school or before you become a Swann?
Yeah, well, the idea of Cygnets is you can take this as quick or as slow as you want. So if you're really switched on and that sort of thing, then you could run through Cygnets in probably a couple of weeks, because especially near the end, then we want to sit down with you via Zoom, whatever it is, or we think we're going to use Microsoft Teams, so that we can actually make sure you're right and off you go. So that's for the dynamic people. For the people that just want to do it, or they're doing it on top of full-time work, looking after children, whatever else you've got to do, then it might take people a year to do. So the whole thing is done that people can take it at whatever speed of time that they want to do it. So that's what we've sort of tailored it at. And we're going to be starting doing regular webinars based on the different modules for people, so people can come and join a webinar on a specific thing that they want to maybe know some more information about. Say for the insurances, we've used Mercia Insurance, have been really good, and they've helped us go through the different insurances. And also for some insurances, you might think you just need an insurance broker, but actually you need an actual financial advisor for those insurances. So it's sort of thing.
So is this info on your website, which I'm putting up now?
Yeah, there's the basic.
Here we go.
There's the basic information on the Swann website for Cygnets. The main thing that we're doing at the moment is that we're having some foundation clients just to go through the idea of Cygnets, just to make sure that we've got everything in the right order. We've put it in what we think is a logical order, but we've been in business a long time. So for somebody starting up, you might find that it's not actually, doesn't work for them. But the idea is that you're a Cygnet. We set you up with the package, and then hopefully you'll fledge, as a lot of the birds are doing now, and then you become a fully fledged, and then you can be a Swann, and then we'll help you glide off, and then we'll help do all the manic paddling whilst your new business succeeds, which is the most important thing. Nobody wants a new business to fail. No.
Anyway, so that's your brilliant website. So apart from Cygnets, who would be your ideal client?
As I said, I think we traditionally, for whatever reason, a lot of our clients are family-run businesses. It's just it's just the way that works out. So that's the sort of people that, you know, they might have been in business, if it isn't Cygnets, they might have been in business 2 or 3 years, and then suddenly they find they haven't got enough time. The accounts are always left to a Friday evening, a Sunday afternoon, or they pray for bank holiday weekends because they get an extra day off because that's when they do the accounts, or they're forced to do the accounts because they have a VAT return to do. And then they literally spend 1 or 2 days getting very stressed, very fraught, because the accounts have got to be done and they've left it and left it and left it. So that's the sort of people we're looking for. And also people that get to, if you're self-employed, you have to do a self-assessment return and pay any tax that's due by the end of January. And how many people leave that till Christmas? To when there's the main time where your finances are stretched because, you know, you want to spend time over the festive period, buy people presents, whatever, indulge yourselves, have a wonderful time. And then suddenly you get all the accounts done and suddenly you've got to find this money by the end of January to pay the tax man. And there's no reason for it because you can quite easily, you've got 9 months before then to do it.
Yeah,
so
true.
I think with the lockdown, a lot of people have actually taken the time and done their accounts early for the first time ever. So that's something, going back to what you asked before, was that maybe that's a lesson for everybody, that you get it all done. And then, you know now in the summer how much money you've got to find before the end of January. The other thing that some people might not know, it's not very much, because if you have any money in a bank at the moment, it doesn't give you any interest. You know, you've almost got to pay to have your money in the bank account. But if you pay your personal tax, and especially if you're a limited company, your corporation tax to HMRC early, which I know goes against the grain for a lot of people, but HMRC will actually give you some interest back, which is more than the banks do. So if you think you're going to put the money in a separate deposit account to earn you a bit of interest before you pay HMRC, you'll get more money back by actually paying HMRC first.
Brilliant. That's excellent. I've got one killer question for you. You ready for this?
There's always one at the end, isn't there?
There's always one at the end, yeah. Well, it's a fairly simple one. It's what advice or insights would you give anyone who's struggling at the moment?
I think the main thing for people is to keep positive. I'm always very much a goal setter. So even if it's something small, make sure that you have something to do every day. If you hate doing the accounts and it's still stressful, then what's your best time of day? I'm a morning person. I know lots of people that are evening people. I have clients that email me at 11:30 at night when I've been in bed a long time, but they wouldn't be awake at 5 o'clock in the morning like me. Pick your best time of day to do your accounts. And even if it's, and maybe you just go, always on a Tuesday morning, I'm at my best, or Tuesday evening, that's the best time. The family, it's quiet. That's the time to do your accounts. Put all the pieces of paper together, ignore them the rest of the time, and then just do them in one hit once a week at your best time of day. And you'll be amazed of how quick it's and easier it is, and it's done, and then you don't have to worry about it, you don't have to stress about it or anything else. So I think that's the main thing to do. Don't rush it. One other thing, that if you're not sure on all of the new online softwares like QuickBooks and Xero and Sage and things, they have the automatic download of ClearBooks. Every so often, just check that the bank balance that is on your accounts is your actual bank balance. We had some issues with the banks last year going to open banking where they didn't necessarily download all of the information. And sometimes if you have an internet glitch or something, that might happen. And the last thing you want to do is that you literally get it, you go tick, 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 everything's on, but then you find your actual balance isn't the same as the bank's. And then that can take a bit of unraveling to make sure that do. So that's what I would tell people to do, is to just keep on top of it, do your best time of day and plan for the startup. You know, go, I'm all organised now, I'm on top of it now. That's what I'm going to keep doing instead of just leaving it. Yeah, and if you find that it's still a white elephant, then you need maybe somebody like us to give you a hand over it.
Excellent. That's really good advice to end on, Sheila. Brilliant stuff. So, you know, you've got your Piglet bits of paper, you know, to send them to. The details are scrolling across. Give her a contact. Sheila, it's been absolutely brilliant. And thank you for your insights and your views, especially on today's challenging climate. Just thank you very much, Sheila. Thank you.
Thanks for inviting me, Howard. It's been great. Thank you.
Okay, I'll just put you back into the green room for your refreshments.
Thank you.
And I'll speak to you soon. Thanks a lot, Sheila. Wow, so that's Sheila Bell. Details still going across like that. Give her a bell because she likes a piece of the paper, and at least you know what your spending is.